to my review for The Magnificent Seven. So, The Magnificent Seven follows the original story that spawned from Seven Samurai, which I reviewed just last week, link in bio. And it stars Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen and follows the story of a group of poor people who just farm and produce food that are threatened to be attacked by bandits. So because of this, they go into town, find 7 people who can protect the village, and use those 7 people to protect them from the bandits that will most likely kill them for their food. So this story we've seen many iterations of, such as A Bug's Life, Reservoir Dogs, Ocean's 11, but most famously is The Magnificent Seven, which was known to have been highly inspired by Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai came out in 1954 and was directed by Akira Kurosawa, and was a huge success foreignly and internationally. So in America, it was a very well-known movie by that point, and because of that, John Sturges decided that he wanted to create a Western version of it. So that's exactly what he did, and now we have The Magnificent Seven. In case you don't know, the new one is coming out next week, so that is why I reviewed this as well as Seven Samurai before it. So I was interested to see The Magnificent Seven. I had heard a lot of great things about it, and Western isn't necessarily my favorite genre per se. I love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I also love Once Upon a Time in the West. But besides that, I've not seen another Western that really stood out to me like, wow. High Noon, I liked that one. It didn't stand out to me. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, another one I liked, but it didn't stand out to me. And I can say that The Magnificent Seven had joined those. A movie I liked, but it didn't stand out to me, and I didn't think it was amazing. However, it is very much a good movie. The score, I mean, that's part of the reason why this movie is so famous. The score is fantastic. In fact, I'd say it's the one thing that it improved upon in Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai, the score is not very memorable. It's there, I believe, but it's not very memorable. However, in this one, the score is definitely memorable. It's a score for the ages, and a score that will live on for a very long amount of time, and actually, I believe a part of the reason why this movie is so famous. However, it's not just a score. The action also is very good. The shootout scenes, they don't have too many. There's only really one at the end. However, it's shot very well, and it's a very well done scene. And overall, this is a very well shot movie. The set design also just looks fantastic. It looks very authentic to the Western time. And also to the cinematography, they were able to capture somewhat of a gritty feel. Not as gritty, say, as Once Upon a Time in the West, which really captured that. But it definitely captured that gritty feel, which I really did enjoy. It was overall an entertaining movie, I'd also say. I found entertainment in it. I do think that, however, the second third of this movie, the second act, was absolutely stark as far as entertainment, because it was just them sort of training, and that was somewhat of a boring part that just sort of went on. However, I do think that the final third act and the first act were definitely very entertaining. However, I do not have too many good things to say about Magnificent Seven. As much as I did enjoy it, I do have much more strong feelings about some of the bad things. As far as it goes, it's a very forgettable movie. It's not very memorable in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't stand out from the crowd, and I'm honestly surprised that it continued for this long, that it's a very well-known movie today, because honestly, I didn't think it was too original or too creative. It was just another Western. And I gotta say that this movie followed Seven Samurai a little too closely for my taste. Sure, they did do some different things, but I'd say that 80% of this movie is basically the same thing as Seven Samurai. So if you've seen Seven Samurai, you basically already know how this movie goes down. There are a few different things that happen, and I did enjoy how they did go away from it. However, it just felt like a weaker version of Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai is such an emotionally rich movie with fantastic characters, amazing cinematography. It's in my top 20 of all time. And this one just didn't feel as powerful. They tried to make the characters super interesting, And in the end, they just simply weren't. They felt sort of flat. And I don't think that that was the actor's fault. The acting in this movie, for the most part, is good. Steve McQueen obviously stands out from the rest. But overall, this movie it sort of feels like it was trying too much to be like Seven Samurai, yet it wasn't as powerful and it wasn't as moving. Especially the final scene. Just the final scene in general after the huge shootout, that felt very, very similar to Seven Samurai. There was one part of it that was definitely different, only that part felt more Hollywood-esque instead of more realistic. And then the final part of the movie just sort of felt like tacked on. Like, they just needed to put it there because that's what Seven Samurai did, and a couple things feel like that. They just feel sort of tacked on because, oh, that's what Seven Samurai did, so that's what we need to do. That's what they did with the love relationship. That's what they did with many aspects of the movie. However, I don't want to come off too negative about this movie. I can, in the end, say that I enjoyed The Magnificent Seven. It's a good movie, not amazing, though, and that is why, in the end, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I'd recommend it if you're a Western fan. It's a good Western, but overall, just not amazing. Alright, that concludes my review for The Magnificent Seven. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.